Over the last several decades, the NBA has become a global game, with many of the top stars coming from outside the United States. That said, there's actually a long history of foreign-born players making a splash in the NBA, so this series is digging into each country's history of NBA draft picks. Today, we're turning our eye to Italy, the land of real pizza, wine, and a certain former number one pick. So, let's go ahead and take a look back at every Italian player drafted to the NBA as of 2025. But before diving in, a quick shout out to Vincenzo Esposito, who wasn't drafted in '91, but was the first player ever signed by the Toronto Raptors and had a pretty solid career overseas. Hank Biasatti, 1947. First of all, apologies for any mispronunciation. I could not find any source that wasn't AI online. Biasatti was born in Italy, but moved to Windsor, Ontario as a youth. There, he became a star basketball and baseball player. The 5'11 guard played college basketball at Assumption College and was a farmhand for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Intercontinental League. He served in the Canadian Army during World War II, and in 1946, he started playing pro baseball for the Maple Leafs. After the baseball season, he played for the Toronto Huskies for 6 games in the first year of the BAA, the league that would go on to become the NBA. The Celtics then picked him in the second round of the 1947 BAA draft after the Huskies folded, but he never played for the team. Instead, Biasatti stuck with baseball. He had a solid season in the minors in 1947, and then led the Maple Leafs in home runs in 1948 with 21. He made his major league debut with the Philadelphia Athletics in 1949, playing in 21 games and getting 2 hits, both of which went for doubles. After the season, he was purchased by the Buffalo Bisons in the International League and spent 2 years playing there. In 1953, Biasatti started a coaching career, most notably coaching basketball at Assumption College from 1956 to 1962. He passed away in 1996. Stefano Rusconi, 1990. Rusca came up the ranks in Italy before the Cavs picked him in the second round of the 1990 draft. He never played in Cleveland, instead spending another 5 years playing in Italy, where he won 1 Italian League championship, 3 Italian Cups, and 1 Italian League MVP in 1995. At that point, the Cavs had traded his rights to the Suns, and Rusca made his NBA debut in the 1996 season. He appeared in 7 games, averaging about 1 point and 1 rebound a night. Rusca then went back overseas and played through 2010, winning another Italian League in '97 and the Spanish Cup in '99. Andrea Bargnani, 2006. Before the Raptors picked him first overall in 2006, Bargnani had made a name for himself by winning the Italian League in 2006 and the Italian Cup in '04 and '05. He also won the EuroLeague Rising Star and the Italian League Best Player Under 22 award in '06. Bargs was a 7-footer with legit range, drawing pre-draft comparisons to Dirk Nowitzki, so you can kind of understand why Toronto went all in on his potential and made him the first European picked first overall. It took some time for him to adapt to the NBA, but Bargnani finished his first season with averages of 12 points and 4 rebounds, mostly coming off the bench, and was the distant runner-up to Brandon Roy in Rookie of the Year voting. In '08, most of his numbers went down, despite him becoming a starter. There were some calls to trade the youngster, but Toronto stuck with him, and Bargnani put in a ton of work over the summer. In 2009, he showed off a bulked-up physique and improved his game enough that Toronto felt comfortable trading Jermaine O'Neal to the Heat midway through the season. He was even better in 2010, averaging 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks a night. However, Chris Bosh was injured twice that season, limiting the team's effectiveness. After the season, Bosh left for the Heat to join LeBron James and Dwayne Wade, and Bargnani became the focal point of the offense, putting up 21 points a game as Toronto limped to 22 wins. Over the next 2 years, Bargs only managed to suit up for 66 games, and the Raptors traded him to the Knicks ahead of the 2014 season. He spent 2 injury-plagued seasons in New York and 1 more in Brooklyn before his NBA career was over. After one last year in Spain, Bargnani retired. As of 2025, he's working as an ambassador for the Italian Super Cup and the NBA in Italy. Marco Belinelli, 2007. Belinelli starred in the Italian League before joining the NBA, winning the Italian Cup in 2002, and then adding the Super Cup, Serie A Championship, and Italian Super Cup MVP in 2005. Belinelli was picked 18th overall by the Warriors and played there for 2 years, averaging about 6 points while mostly coming off the bench. He was traded to Toronto in 2009, joining his countryman Bargnani for a season, but not showing much improvement. That said, Belinelli was always a long-range marksman, so it wasn't a huge surprise that he took a mini leap after being traded to the Hornets in 2011. That year, he was a more consistent starter and put up 10 points a night behind 41% from deep. He bumped that up to 12 a game in 2012 and signed with the Bulls in 2013. There, he gained a reputation as a clutch scorer, but it wasn't until 2014, when he joined the Spurs, that Belinelli's role as a bench scorer solidified. That year, he averaged 11 points a game as San Antonio won a title. He also picked up some individual hardware, winning the three-point contest at that year's All-Star game. After that season, Belly spent one more year with the Spurs before jumping around the league for a few years. He rejoined the Spurs in 2019 and left the NBA in 2020. Belinelli then spent 5 years playing in Italy, winning the league's MVP in 2024 and retiring after the 2025 season. Nowadays, he seems to mostly be enjoying his retirement and taking care of his young family. Danilo Gallinari, 2008. Gallinari won the Italian League MVP shortly before joining the NBA, adding to the excitement of the young player coming to the States. The Knicks picked him 6th overall, but an unfortunate early back injury forced him to miss most of his rookie season. When he came back, Gallinari put up 15 points and 5 rebounds a night. Gallinari continued to be a double-digit scorer for the next 11 seasons. His best stretch came from 2012 to 2017 with the Nuggets, though he did miss the entire 2014 season with an injury. But still, he was putting up 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists a night for Denver. He then had a couple of solid seasons with the Clippers and Thunder before joining the Hawks, where he started to come off the bench. Gallinari missed another season due to injury in 2023. He came back in 2024, playing 49 games while jumping between the Wizards, Pistons, and Bucks. After that season, Gallinari went to Puerto Rico to play, winning that league's Finals MVP in 2025. As of the 2026 season, he's still a free agent and says he's not going to go to Europe to play. That said, Gallinari did say that if the NBA Europe project does come together, he would love to help in an executive role with the league. Reggie Jackson, 2011. I'll be relatively brief with this one because, to be honest, Jackson barely qualifies. He was born in Italy while his father was serving on an Air Force base. The family then moved to England for a bit before settling in the United States when Jackson was 5. He played college ball at Boston College, making the All-ACC roster in 2011 with 18 points a game. The Thunder picked him 24th overall in the 2011 draft, and he spent a few years playing backup point guard for OKC. He was traded to Detroit midway through the 2015 season at his request, and played there for 5 years, averaging 16 points and 6 assists over that stretch. He was waived in the middle of the 2020 season as part of a contract buyout and quickly signed with the Clippers. After 2 years, he had another buyout deal and signed with the Nuggets, helping them win a title in 2023. After 1 more year in Denver, he signed with Philly, but was traded to the Wizards midway through the season and was immediately waived. He hasn't signed with the team since, but doesn't appear to have officially retired, so if a playoff team needs a grizzled point guard, don't be surprised if he comes back to the NBA in 2026. Nico Mannion, 2020. Mannion was born in Italy to former NBA player Pace Mannion and spent his early childhood there before moving to the United States. In 2017, Mannion was billed by Sports Illustrated as, quote, a 15-year-old, sorta maybe, basketball prodigy while playing in Arizona. He was considered a top 15 prospect in the 2019 class and signed with Arizona for college. Mannion put up 14 points and 5.3 assists to make the All-Pac-12 second team. He decided to jump into the 2020 draft, and the Warriors picked him in the second round. Nico played in 30 games as a rookie, averaging 4 points and 2 assists. He then joined the Italian national team for the 2020 Olympics and decided to leave the NBA and play for Bologna. He's played for a few teams in Italy, but has proven to be a solid player. He led the Serie A in scoring in 2024, while also picking up the league's Domestic Player of the Year award. He won the Euro Cup in 2022 and has won 3 Italian Super Cups. It's not clear if he plans to ever come back to the NBA, but the Warriors tender him to a 2-way qualifying offer each June to retain his restricted free agent rights, just in case he ever does. Tristan Vukcevic, 2023. Vukcevic's father was playing pro ball in Italy when the youngster was born. However, he was eligible to play for 6 different countries internationally due to his heritage. Ultimately, Tricky decided to play for Serbia, despite spending much of his childhood in Italy. When his dad retired from basketball, the family moved to Greece, where Tricky went through the youth system at Olympiacos, where his father played. In 2018, he joined the U16 side at Real Madrid, another of his dad's former teams. He played for the Spanish side for 3 years, winning the Spanish Super Cup in 2021. In 2022, he started playing in the Yugoslavian League, winning its championship in 2023. That year, he was picked in the second round by the Wizards. After one more year in Europe, Tricky joined the Wiz in 2024. He played in 10 games as a rookie, averaging 8.5 points and 3.5 rebounds. Tricky signed a 2-way deal in 2025, appearing in 35 games with 9.4 points and 3.7 boards. As of the 2026 season, he's on another 2-way deal, but has unfortunately not progressed as a defender as much as the team would like. That said, the 7-footer is still just 22, so he could definitely turn it around, but he's got some work to do. And that is every Italian player ever drafted by the NBA. I'll be back with the next country at some point, but for now, why don't you check out this video about every Australian ever drafted.